Okay. Allen wrote on the back of Volume 1 of The Invention of the White Race, the first edition, when the first Africans arrived in Virginia in 1619, there were no white people there, nor would there be, according to the colonial records, for another 60 years. And he had gone through 885 county years of records over 20 years, and I've got those records home. He would go to the county courthouses, and no one has done this with such rigor. This is what I call proletarian scholarship. This is the real stuff, right? And he would go there, and he would transcribe, and then he would come back, and he would type it up. And that's the basis for some of the extraordinary documentation. These 2 volumes of Allen, each volume is about 35-40% notes, right? And appendices. So it's it's small font. I mean, it's very heavily documented based on primary sources. Not yet, Sean, come back. So he goes through 885 county years of Virginia's colonial records. And that means you go to York County, and each year, that's 1 county year of records. Go on. All right. There were no, as he subsequently explains, others living in the colony at the time were English. They had been English when they left, and naturally they and their Virginia-born children were English. They were not white. White identity had to be carefully taught, and it would be another 60 years before the word would appear. And he's not simply talking about semantics. As we're going to see, the white race as we know it was not existing and not functioning. 1640, still no white people. John Punch, about 4 or 5 months ago, you might have seen Ancestry.com did a piece that got picked up on the media about Barack Obama's ancestor. On his mother's side, they did a whole big thing. Barack Obama had an ancestor who had been had a sentence of lifetime bond servitude imposed upon him. That fellow's name was John Punch. But the interesting thing that they were playing up, in the papers was this was on his mother's side, not his father's side. But here's the only document that exists about John Punch. And John Punch, what's interesting is he runs away with 2 other bond servants, right? One is Victor, a Dutchman, and the other a Scotchman named James Gregory. They're still not white, right? Next slide, Sean. The big battle is there were no white people there. Bacon's Rebellion, 1670. This is the big battle that Allen focuses on, and we're going to talk about in some depth. But here's the account of the fellow who took the lead in putting down the rebellion, named Thomas Grantham. He's a ship merchant. I there met 400 English and Negroes in arms who were much dissatisfied, betrayed them. Some were for shooting me, others for cutting me in pieces. In the final stages, 80 Negroes and 20 English. Don't leave yet, Sean. One thing, just anecdotally, since I talked before about Harrison's struggle to do Negro with a capital N, right? That was because it was now, when Harrison comes here, it's all being spelled with a small n. But back in the 17th century, before the invention of the white race, this is the original document. Negro is with a capital N. Go on.